What's up, y'all? It's your girl J Renee with Prison Ride Radio. I hope that you're doing well. On the phone, we have a brother whose name is Shyheim Dean EL-Mu'Min. Okay, he's going to talk to us about his experiences and the things that he's going on. So make sure y'all listen up because it's going to be a lot of information. Hello, good morning, brother. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How's yourself?
I'm all right. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you for taking the time to come and speak with us. For sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna jump right into it. Tell the people a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Well, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm incarcerated distant for 10 flat years, and I just was released recently from Southeastern Correctional Center after doing 10 years in solitary confinement. I've been in and out of incarceration since I was 16, certified as an adult. I haven't really had not even 2 years out in society since 1993. I'm finna turn 45 in November, so pretty much got almost 28 years or more incarcerated. And since I transcended from a gangbang mentality to revolutionizing my mind and becoming conscious, I've been advocating for prisoners' rights throughout the whole state of Missouri. And by doing so, I became a target for the administration, and they've been trying to pretty much assassinate me and keep me held incarcerated. But I've been fighting charges after charges after charges, and I've been prevailing. So at this time, I got a 12/12 max my sentence out on August the 11th, and they've been plotting to try to bring up some trumped up charges on me back in February. And they did. They lied. They said that I threw some feces and urine on the staff. There's no physical evidence or nothing of that nature, and they charged me up under the wrong statute in order for they can hold me in this county jail without bond. And I'm just sitting here in limbo waiting to see the outcome of this case. But as it stands right now, I'm just down here when I'm supposed to be free after I maxed out my sentence.
Right. They definitely hate when we stand up for ourselves and stand up for others. I hate to hear that you're going through that. And you say you're at the county jail. So how long have you been at the county jail?
Since August the 11th.
Okay.
August the 11th, they brought me here. Okay. It's right here in Mississippi County, down here in Missouri, Charleston, Missouri.
Okay. So explain to everybody when you say that you're not supposed to be there. I think they need to really understand what you mean by that. Like, not just I'm not supposed to be in prison, like figuratively. Explain what you mean by that.
All right. See, whenever officers how they got this system set up is that they have these low-ranking officers that they call correctional officers, and they can write a ticket or a conduct violation. But when they write a conduct violation, you have rights. You got a right to appeal. You got a right to present evidence at a hearing. You got a right to call witnesses, and you got the right to proper representation of your due process. And then it goes to what they call a disciplinary hearing officer. The disciplinary hearing officer pretty much is more 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10 is going to be an ex-correctional officer. But they working in classification. They're going to automatically find it guilty based on the written evidence of the officer's statement instead of actually looking at the evidence or the pertinent information that you present to them. They just find you guilty, and they violate the due process right there. And then when it goes up to the warden stage, the warden signs off on it and approves it. So, but in this particular case, they saying that a crime was committed. So they got to read you your rights, your Miranda rights, which that was never read to me. I was teamed on a conduct violation like after 14 days, but they supposed to team you within 7 days. They supposed to give you a hearing. That part of my due process was violated. Okay, when I was teamed by the adjustment hearing officers, they found me guilty just based off this officer's statement. And when they say someone is throwing, if you get some type of feces or urine or stuff like that thrown on you, they saying that some type of DNA is involved. And when that type of stuff is involved, that means they got it. They have to go to the hospital and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay, none of this has been taking place.
That's like biohazard. You have to go to the hospital.
Exactly. And this particular officer didn't do none of this, and they found me guilty. They found me guilty of the hearing on. So the incident allegedly occurred on June the 28th. I was teamed on July the 6th. Okay, on July the 11th July the 11th. That's when the warden signs off on it and approves that they're going to accept this AHO's decision to find me guilty. On the 12th, this particular officer who said that I threw something on him went to the prosecutor's office itself and filed charges against me because he knew that I was going to be maxing out my sentence on August the 11th.
Right.
So instead of them doing the proper procedures that they have set up for these type of cases to prosecute, they supposed to send it to the institutional investigator. The institutional investigator is the one who's supposed to investigate, look at the video camera, see what type of evidence they have, and see if the process of the paperwork been properly processed. And he files what you call a probable cause affidavit if it's a true bill stating that the statutes was violated and the law was violated. None of this was done. He went to a prosecutor, but they've been threatening me since February that they got a new prosecutor and that they're going to try to bring up charges. They're not going to let me get away and things of that nature. Well, if anyone can Google my name or go online to the San Francisco Bayview, they see the articles that I've written about this particular institution back in 2015 and 16, where I had to defend myself and a lot of stuff that was going on at the institution, and they tried to give me 45 years back in 2017, and it didn't work, and I beat the charges. So they was mad at that. So when they sent me back to that institution, and now they transferred me out of there in 16, but they sent me back to that institution on the February the 15th of 2022, knowing that I got 6 months left till I max out. So they can do all this stuff. I went through torture down there in the last 6 months. I'm a diabetic. They was tampering with my insulin. I couldn't take my insulin for a while, so I had to eat one meal a day. I haven't been outside for recreation since 2020. I haven't felt the sun or anything, or felt the wind on my skin since 2020. It's a lot of stuff that I had to endure. Getting maced, they kept getting gas bombs dropped on me. Things that these officers, this same particular officer who was orchestrating this campaign of harassment, the day I was leaving, that was his last day. Okay. He on camera going through my legal mail, through my legal material, still illegal property of mine, and harassed me all the way out the door. Now these two deputies who was trying to pick me up to retrieve me and take me to their county jail was present the whole time. But during my bond hearing on the 17th, the prosecutor steps up and said, "Well, Your Honor, he's threatening these officers leaving the institution, saying he's going to kill them when he get out. He's a threat to the society, this, that, and the third." And I'm like, "Your Honor, these deputies right here was present, and they stood up to testify on my behalf and said that that's a lie, and that these officers are lying, and then they had to call the warden to check the camera for them to go in the trash can and get my legal work out the trash can." So now the prosecutor's like, if they lied about that, then they have to be lying about this other stuff. Of course they are.
Right.
Why would I jeopardize my freedom?
Like, no, you would have to be out of your mind, literally, to do something like that.
And I'm talking about, I just did 10 flat years in solitary confinement, and they rolled me several different institutions. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to break me, through the cycle. Most of the guys that were standing on anything from going through this struggle here in this state, most of them dropped the flag. They dropped the banner. They're not propagating truth to power, trying to enlighten the youngsters that's coming through here. But I can stay consistent. By me being consistent with that, and me being trying to steer them from going through the wrong course and path that I went through my early stage of incarceration, I become a threat because I'm a threat to their livelihood because they propagate recidivism. Prison is set up for failure. And they want them guys to go back out there to recidivate. They don't want them to go back out there to society, be productive citizens to society. They want them to go back out there and bring a lot of harm to our community and commit crime and come back to prison. But by me exemplifying the actions of the new man and be trying to enlighten them, I became a target. Educate them about their rights, so they can know when their rights being violated, so they can know how to navigate the bureaucracy of the whole administration throughout the system. That's a threat because they don't study the policy procedures. Just the 97% of the staff don't. They don't adhere to it because they don't know it themselves. So if our prisoners know it, then they know how to properly address their issues.
Right.
So by them not knowing this stuff, they just function on post orders and pass alongs, and they supervise allow them to do anything. They violate the public trust. But when they instigate these altercations with the prisoners so they can get assaulted, or they can file false assault claims so they can get money. It's a money thing. So when they can get days off, time off, and they can go brag about getting a new truck, that they getting money for this stuff. They getting paid for this stuff, and this is how they skimming the system out of money by filing these false assault charges on prisoners. And with me in this particular case, like I said, they've been trying to hem me up for years throughout the whole state, and they always come with it, you know. And like I say, the universe balances itself out. The charges that they charged me up under is under statute ORSMO 217.385, which is causing violence to a correctional officers or inmate, and that carries 5 years to 15 years. That's a B felony. But that is they charged me that if I actually physically beat an officer or physically send someone to the hospital with serious injury. Right. In order for you to get charged for something like this in this state, the officer got to write you a ticket, a conduct violation for what they call a 2.1 assault. I was not written up for a 2.1 assault. They written me up for a 2.2 assault, which he said I allegedly do something on him.
Right.
Now, in that particular instance, the conduct violation would be charged up under 575.155, endangering a correctional employee or offender. And in this statute, they say the offense of endangering correctional employees, visit or correctional center or jail or another offender is a Class E felony, unless the substance is identified, in which case it is a Class A misdemeanor. Now, if you had any type of diseases or things of that nature, they can charge you with a Class D felony because you exposed them to some type of communicable disease. None of this stuff was taking place. No DNA was swab taken, my blood wasn't drawn. None of this, because none of that has never even occurred. An incident like this never occurred. So they just went down and filed a false probable cause statement with this prosecutor who's in cahoots with them. Who I come to find out who was the assistant prosecutor back in 2017 when the original prosecutor was trying to prosecute me for these other charges that they had lost jurisdiction over and had to dismiss. He dies and have a heart attack and die. And that's how she became the prosecutor. Now she's vindictive, and they filed these charges with malicious intent. They filed these charges with malicious intent, so it's all retaliatory. You know what I'm saying? So now here I am. They know that they're gonna eventually probably have to drop them. I don't know, but I'm not guilty of this. I'm innocent. It's a bogus charge, but they know by them having me go through this process, have me down in this county jail, have me going through the motions, they can just drag me out. I filed a 108-day writ. So whatever they do, they got to do it within 180 days. You know what I'm saying? And I've been down here now since August 11th. Another one on September the 8th, and my preliminary hearing is set up for September the 14th. But like I said, man, I just did 10 flat years in solitary confinement up under some of the most harshest conditions, and I haven't lost my mind. I've seen guys lose their minds in there. They violate a lot of guys' rights.
I can imagine.
They are. They say what now?
I said I can imagine people losing it under such conditions.
And the sad thing about it, Jay Renee, is that in society they closing down a lot of mental health institutions. So they using these correctional centers to house people with severe mental illnesses. And being down there in the SHU units and AGSIC units, and i.e. the whole, you encounter a lot of these guys, and there is no mental health treatment for them. They're not taking no therapeutic approach to try to help them. And then whatever mental health issues that they had, it only severe. They become more worse because they just locked down behind these doors, and they not getting no type of outside exercise, no type of recreation at all. So I'm sitting here with guys that's actually really losing it. Eating their feces, banging on his doors all night, hollering, some hanging themselves. And I'm like, I gotta fight this. I gotta fight the administration in regards to them violating their rights. And then the token violating their rights, they violate mine because they exposed me to this as well.
Right.
And I be trying to help them guys. If I be doing this, I incur their wrath. So, but I was built for it. I'm saying that when you passionate about helping people and you passionate about doing justice, regardless of what the opposition brings, you're just gonna have to persevere. And like I'm a paraphrase what Martin Luther King said: the true testament of a man's character is not where he stands during the time of inconvenience and comfort, but where he stands during the time not during the time of convenience and comfort, but where he stands during the time of inconvenience and the struggle.
Right.
And I haven't been break, bow, or fold throughout the whole time I've been incarcerated. I haven't compromised my manhood, my sanity, my integrity, my morals, my principles, nor my spirituality. I'm going back out there intact. Even though I'm facing this, I have not blinked. I'm not accepting what they're talking about. I'm gonna will myself into the existence. I'm gonna will myself back into society, back with my family, back to my community, and I'm gonna keep on pushing. But I just want the world to know that it's what's going on in here, and that it's a real injustice that's going on, and the light need to be shined, because the prisons is not set up down here. It's for rehabilitation. It's all about money. It's about housing. It's about population control, and they're not providing anything therapeutic at all unless you yourself take upon the initiative to try to do it yourself. Otherwise, it's not helping at all, and it's bad. But I'm here down in Mississippi County Jail, where it's to me it's an extension from the Missouri Department of Corrections, because a lot of the officers that works there used to work here, and that's how they were on my way out the door. They was trying to tell this deputy, hey, do this to him when he get there. Hey, he's like this and that. But it's fortunate though, and I'm gonna be honest. This officer Joe Ross, he stepped up and was like, he's not doing that.
Right.
He had to step up himself and be like, hey, let me get you out of these guys' custody, because he witnessing what they're doing to me. I'm free. I'm pretty much would have been free if they didn't have these charges on me. I would have walked out the door a free man with no more time owed to the state. I would have had no more probation, no parole, or nothing. I would have done my time.
Right.
And he seen that, and he was like, man, look, I'm going to report this. And he did. He came back here. He did a good thing, man. So I have nothing bad to say about the deputy, man.
Right.
Even though these conditions in this jail can be a little better, but yeah, hey, it's jail. But it's all a money thing.
Oh, most
it's all
definitely.
a money thing. So
it's definitely about
it's all
money.
a money thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you,
It's all a
brother,
money
it's
thing.
a lot that you're going through. First, I would like to say that I appreciate you, and I know a lot of my listeners are going to appreciate the fact that you actually care about the younger guys coming in and trying to teach them something about themselves and how to do better. Giving back to our youth it will always go far with me. So you're definitely appreciated for that, especially knowing that such hardships have come with it. I don't even know what to say, and I'm very rarely speechless. You're blowing my mind. I do know that this kind of thing happens. One of the reasons why we have this show is to expose to the general public that these things do happen. Those of us in the fight know this type of stuff happen, but there's a large portion of the population that is just oblivious and blind to all of this. Like I said, I'm really speechless. So let me ask you this: what can we do out here to support you, brother?
I'm saying, well, like at this time, the stage is all really up to this prosecutor. Her name is Claire Poley, and they can either email her and tell her to look at the evidence closely, because if they don't, I shouldn't be charged up under this statute. I haven't seen the public defender or anybody right now. I'm doing everything pro se.
Right.
I have no one out there to really, probably give me an attorney or anything right now. So I'm doing things pro se. And if I shouldn't be charged up under a statute, which is 217-385, as if I physically violently hurt someone, sent someone to the hospital, like the kind of violation if you was written up under state serious injury beyond first aid. I wasn't written up for nothing like that. But you charged me for that. You charged me for that so you can manipulate the courts and tell them, hey, he got this B felony, so we're going to charge him this to carry 5-15 years, and he got a history of violence or whatever, so we don't want to give him no bond. We're not supposed to be up under a class 575.155, endanger the correctional employee, which they say allegedly threw some urine and feces on. That's a class E felony. I can get a reconnaissance bond for that. That can be dropped down to a class A misdemeanor because you don't have no evidence, substance, or anything DNA to prove or state the fact that something was thrown on this person. So that can be easily dismissed and I can be gone. Or I can just sign out for my own reconnaissance. They made me miss my job interview. I had a job, people who offered me a job, write the judge, send them a letter letting them know, hey, they got a job interview for me. But I'm supposed to be going to the job interview on the 21st of August when I went to the bond hearing on the 17th. Presented out, I got a solid home plan and everything, but they didn't look at that. They just got me down here. I'm like, man, come on, man, I could be more of an asset to society, to my people, than have me incarcerated.
That's their problem. That's their problem right there. For you to be an asset to your people. That's the problem. That's the problem. To them. Damn, brother.
I don't know if this thing's gonna cut off in about 8 seconds or not. If it do, I would like to finish talking to you if you have time.